it's been many months since I posted a video, and I don't exactly have a good excuse, but I'm just gonna pretend like that's not the case and just jump right into it. This is all the makeup that I currently own, and I want to go through my collection piece by piece because there are a few items I know for sure that I just straight up don't use, don't want. So I just wanted to be critical of what I have and try to cull it down to what I actually can use regularly, where they don't just rot in my drawer. Even though it's a fairly small collection, there are still things that just get completely neglected and I don't even know why I am storing them. They're just a waste of space at this point. So I'm gonna go category by category. I'm gonna start with all the base and cheek products that I have. Just gonna go in order of application. So we got this e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. It's the only primer I have in my collection. This is the mini size, and you can see I've used about half of it. I bought this for my wedding for longevity, and while I do think it probably helps the longevity of my makeup, the texture and the stickiness of it and the feeling of it on my skin, it's very present, it's very heavy. And as someone who literally only wears concealer as a base, it feels a little bit overkill. Honestly, the only reason I've got through so much of this is because I started using it as a brow gel, and it's okay as a brow gel, but I don't need it and I don't want to use it up as a brow gel. So I'll try to see if someone else wants it, but I just don't want this. And this next one is the IT Bye Bye Under Eye Full Coverage Concealer. I recently used up a darker shade of this that was in the mini, and I did really like the formula, but the shade was a little bit too peachy and dark. So I did get the light nude shade, which is the lighter warm tone shade, so it's a little more yellow than it is peach. It's a pretty decent color. It's a little bit dark for me when I'm not tan. It's a good color now that it is blazing hot in summer and I can't avoid the sun, so this works out. I think in the winter I might need to get a lighter shade to mix into it, but as it is right now, it's fine. Now you would think this is the CoverGirl Clean powder, but it is the Essence, like the banana brightening powder or something like that. I don't know. It's in clear packaging and there's just one shade and it's powder, but I really enjoy it actually. I think it's mattifying without looking flat. It looks skin-like, it doesn't look too heavy or anything, especially with a fluffy brush spread thinly. I only repressed it into this packaging because the Essence packaging broke and I was using a rubber band for a while, and I kept this old compact, so I thought it was finally time because I hit a big pan and it was getting too hard to travel with it because it was so broken. So I put it into this compact and I will use it up that way, but I definitely want to keep it because it's my only powder. I do have this e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand Contour. It's the lightest contour shade. I do really like this. It's a nice cool tone, fair contour that is really hard to look super muddy. I mean, you can if you put a lot on, but if you're light-handed with it, it'll look good, even if you're paler than me. So I do like this, but I did recently buy the e.l.f. Forever Sun Kiss Primer Infused Matte Bronzer because I wanted something that was more warm, especially when I was using that concealer that was really peachy. This has more of like a warm yellow undertone. I'm just gonna apologize right now if you hear weird noises. I'm currently pet sitting 2 Frenchies and no dog makes as weird of noises as Frenchies, nor are they as loud and common. It's not their fault. They can't breathe through their nose. It's just gonna be weird noises, I'm sorry. But I do like this. I just bought it a couple days ago, so I haven't used it a ton, but it's really easy to blend out and it's not super dark, so I don't look muddy with it, and it just adds some warmth to my face, especially when a concealer makes it look flat or if the concealer is a little bit too like light or not quite the right undertone. So I am definitely keeping this. I currently have 2 powder blushes. This one is the Flower Beauty Flower Pots Sweet Pea Blush. It's fine. It's a good matte blush, nothing wrong with it. I think I'll keep it because I don't have any other options. I'm kind of swaying away from liking the really cool tone pink color, but I also really don't like things that look orange, so I'm not sure, but I'll keep it. It's a good blush. I have no reason to not keep it because I don't have that many other blushes right now. This one I would totally repress into a different compact. I originally was going to put it in this one, but then the Essence powder broke and that one was higher priority. This used to be domed the same way this lid is domed, and look at it now. I have used the crap out of this, and it is really nice. It's slightly warmer pink than this one, which I like. It's sheer and shimmery, so it's like a highlighter and blush combined. I've not used it in a while, mostly because it's been broken. I just need to find some kind of compact to put it into. That way I can use it more, because it is tricky to travel with. But I do really like it, and I kind of want to use it up one day, so I don't want to get rid of it. There's almost like a slight dent to it. I don't know if y'all see that, but that's pretty impressive for a product that used to be completely domed over. So I'm keeping basically everything in the base and shade category except for this primer, but that's because this is the stuff I use the most, so that tracks. The saga continues. The dogs are currently fighting over a squirrel, so enjoy those noises. But these are all my lip products. I have lipsticks over here, and then glosses and balms, and then lip liners. I thought I'd just do them all at once. But this is a category I definitely want to be critical of because lip products expire faster because they're not powders, and I don't use them as frequently as like a concealer per se, especially not the same color over and over again. So I want to make sure I only have things that I actually really like, not ones that I kind of just keep around to keep around. So this first one I do really like. It's the Milani Color Fetish Hydrating Lip Stain in the shade Bitten Berry. It's very intense on its own and when left on the lips for a while, but I do like to just add a dab or two on my lips and sheer it out. And it's a nice base for other lip products, but sometimes I do like to make it intense. It's nice to have that versatility, but it is really pretty and it stays on for a long time. This Milani lipstick I bought for my wedding, and I did mix it with some other shades, and I do like it, but not on its own. It is way too muted and warm, and it just looks a little bit dead on me. But if I mix it with, for instance, this as a base or some other products, I do like it, and I use it enough as like a mixer to change the tone of other lip products that I do want to keep it, so I will. This one I really should not have purchased. I was meeting up with the lady from OfferUp to buy something from her, and she wanted to meet at a CVS or Walgreens. I don't actually remember which one, but I was waiting at that, and since it was hot out, I waited inside, and then I just started looking around, and in the lighting of that store, I swear this looked exactly like my lip shade, but better. And the sticker looks way, way different from the actual product. And of course, it ended up being just a bright, bright pink. I don't know if you can tell, but the side looks lighter and warmer than the tip. It's like once you actually use it, the outer, like I don't know if the outer color is like oxidation versus the true color is not exposed to air as much, but it just looks like bright 80s pink, and I already knew I did not like that color, so I wish I knew that. But it was called Secret Muse, and that sounded like a subtle mauve color, and it was not. Sorry, there's been a time skip, so the lighting has changed, but I am decluttering this one because I hate the color. This next one, my best friend decluttered this to me. It is from Real Her. It's the Girl Power lipstick in the shade Girl Power Mauve, I guess. It is a pretty color. It's a little bit orangey on my lips, but I like mixing it with other colors. But what I've been really enjoying it as a cream blush, so that's mostly how I've been using it. Yeah, it's just like a nice warm rosy blush. This e.l.f. lip oil in Jam Session is one of my favorite lip products because I love the color. It is kind of a black honey kind of color where it's not too warm, not too cool. It just has this nice rich berryish color, but it doesn't come across as like really pink or really orange. It's the perfect in between, and it's really sheer on its own, brings out the life to my lips, but then also works on top of a lot of other shades. This e.l.f. Sunboss Gouache in the shade Pink Me Girl, I was hoping it would be kind of a different shade of pink, a little bit lighter and warmer than I expected, and it kind of just washes me out. It is nice to layer on top of darker colors, but the formula is thicker. I prefer a lip oil. This is more of a traditional gloss. This one says that it expired February of this year. I'm assuming that's referring to the SPF, but since I don't love it and it says it's expired, I'm just gonna let it go because I'm not gonna miss it too much. I find that this lipstick has a very similar undertone, so it serves a similar purpose, so I don't need both. This Nature Well Tinted Lip Butter in the shade Cherry Crush. It isn't very berry like you would think it was with the packaging. It's much more of this, but brighter and pinker, especially when it's sheared out. But while it's a lot on its own, I do like it to put over top of other lip products that I find are a little bit too muted or too warm. It's kind of a nice mixer. Now we're down to the lip liners. I think you can tell which ones I use the most, so you can probably guess which ones I want to keep. This NYX lip pencil in the shade Mauve is it's the closest My Lips But Better shade I've ever found in a lip liner. So I'm obviously going to keep this, and I'll probably repurchase it once I use it up. This NYX matte lip liner in the shade Moonwalk is a really nice cool tone brown shade, which I like for more dramatic looks or just add depth, especially to the outer parts of my lips. This one I have hardly ever used because I just don't like it. It's also a matte lip liner by NYX, but in the shade Whipped Caviar. It's just very pink, so I just never use this. So I'm not gonna keep that. This one, I do like the color. It's honestly like a pretty neutral pink where it's not super cool, not super warm, not super bright. I really like the color. It's kind of like My Lips, but a little bit more intense. But I think I'm allergic to one of the ingredients inside of it, and I'm kind of over it. I don't want to use it anymore. I don't like the feeling that it gives on my lips, and it makes me uneasy, so I'm not gonna keep it. So this is everything I'm keeping in lips and everything I'm getting rid of. Moving on to eye and brow products. I have this e.l.f. Lash Extender Mascara. I just bought this to repurchase a previous one I had, so I'm definitely keeping this. It's the only mascara I use. It's just reliable. It's a tubing mascara that separates and lengthens my lashes, and it doesn't flake or smudge that bad. So I just know it works, and it's pretty affordable too. This NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen in the shade Ash Brown is a really good color for me, and I love the fine tip of it and how I can make hair-like strokes. So I've been really enjoying this, and I'll definitely keep it. This brow pencil was decluttered to me by my friend as well. I was going to use it and use it up. However, after 1 or 2 uses, the mechanism broke, and it simply will not bring up the product anymore, so I am going to declutter it, unfortunately. Even though the color was actually really good, it's the Mo Beauty Divinely Defined Brow Pencil in the shade Light Brown. But yeah, this was really nice. I prefer a pen to a pencil, but I was going to use it, but yeah, it won't let me. This NYX Brow Glue in the shade Medium Brown I really like. Since it is a gel formula, it's less opaque, so I think it would work for a lot of people, and it also makes my brows stay really well, so I do really like it. This Urban Decay Primer Potion is kind of embarrassing because I should have used it up by now. I'm pretty sure there's like 10 uses left or something, maybe. That's kind of pushing it. But I simply have not worn eyeshadow, so I hope it's still good if it's not expired, you know? I'll definitely keep it. I'm gonna try to use it up by the end of the year. Moving on to eyeliner, I have 3 right now. I have this Ulta Beauty eyeliner in the shade Wind Down, a very pretty shade if you have green eyes. It definitely brings out the color. I just don't love the formula. It's a little bit of like that smudgy pencil formula. So it's also not as deep as it appears. When it blends out, it's more of like a bright wine, a bright kind of purple. So it's very nice if you want that smudgy base to build off of, but I prefer a little bit more of an eyeliner that stays put a little better. I would love to find that kind of formula in this color, in this kind of depth that doesn't blend out to be too light. I'll definitely use this one up, but I wouldn't repurchase it for that reason. Something I just repurchased is this LA Girl Ultimate Eye Intense Stay Auto Liner in the shade Deepest Brown. I recently used one up and I just repurchased it. So this is a brand new, fresh one. Definitely keeping this. It stays put a lot better, and I really like this deep, cool tone brown. And then I just bought this Continuous Charcoal shade. It's more of a shimmer. I just tried it once, but it seems to be really pretty, and I think it'll bring out my eyes in a fun way that I haven't tried before. So I know I like the formula, This one's shimmery, so we'll see if it's significantly different, but I do like it, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep that. So I only decluttered this one brow pencil, but that's because most of these are staples in my collection, or things that I intend on using up, and then I'll be down to things that I'll use more often. Okay, we've made it to the eyeshadow portion of this video, and you can probably guess where this is going by the tools I have out, but I have 3 eyeshadow palettes. Now, keep in mind, this is within the context of I very, very rarely wear eyeshadow. It's actually insane considering I used to wear it every day. And now it's like 5 to 10 times a year if I'm lucky. I don't know what it is. I feel like half the time I don't like how I look with it on, and the other half I just don't feel like putting in the effort or the time. But I do want to keep some options for the times I do want to wear eyeshadow, but I don't need this much. So my plan is I'm going to keep this palette of 12 shades, but I'm going to depot some of these shades and replace them with the shades I prefer from these 2. And then by the end, I'll just have 12 shades in one isolated palette. So I'm going to start with what I don't want from this palette, and then we'll start with what I do want from these palettes, and then we'll make palettes accordingly. So I definitely don't want these 2 cream eyeshadows. They're just not my preference. Because they're creams, they settle into creases more. They're a little bit heavier. So it's just not my preferred formula. I'm going to try to save everything and repot them. We'll see if the creams work. Okay, the next 2 eyeshadows I definitely don't want are this pink matte and this pink shimmer. This one's really glittery and chunky, and I just don't prefer that kind of formula. And I just don't wear pink mattes like that. I hardly wear matte shadows at all. And I'm just keeping each shadow in its own little folded paper to keep it all safe and separate. The last 2 eyeshadows I'm getting rid of from this palette are going to be these 2 glittery shades. They're not nearly as chunky glittery as this one, but they're just not really the color I prefer, and they're still a little bit more intense than what I normally wear. This one's more like a white shifting, a very, very strong pink, so it looks just really pink most of the time. And then this is just like a yellow gold, almost greeny gold. They're pretty and they are good formulas if you like that kind of effect. I just don't really wear that color all that often. Ooh, these are more of like a almost creamy texture. Oh my god. I have no idea when I last stopped filming. Well, I was I was giving great instructions on how to repress a powder. I'm just gonna do that again the next time I do it, because yeah, none of that was filmed, so that's great. But this is the end result before you press it down. I'm sure that's helpful. What you're gonna do is grab a tool. It can be one of these, but you can also just use a toothpick or whatever small pointy tool that you can have be sanitized or whatever. And we're gonna dig this out of the pan carefully, so not to make it too chaotic. And you're gonna wanna finely chop down the particles as much as possible, just so that it is a fine powder consistency that is a lot easier to mix. And then kind of similar to those people who make pasta at home and they'll make a little divot in their dough to add eggs. It'll be nice to do that here because then the liquid will go in the center. I recommend, if this is like an old bottle I just repurposed so that I could control the amount of alcohol I put in. It's isopropyl alcohol. I think this is 70%, 90% is better, but whatever you have, just use it. If you don't have a dropper, that's fine. There are plenty of other ways to make sure you don't pour enough, like pouring it into a spoon first and then making sure it's the right amount. But yeah, just don't directly squeeze it from the giant alcohol bottle. Otherwise, it'll be really, really hard to control. Honestly, this is way too much liquid. I mean, it's not horrible, but I probably should have eased up, but I kind of squeezed the entire thing in here. So that was my bad. I would recommend making it more of a paste consistency. This is more of like a sludge, but it still works. It's just a little bit easier to manipulate when it's a little bit drier. Ah, scheiße. No. This is why. Oh my god. Now that it's in the pan, one thing I should say, if you do not have a metal palette like this, I would recommend crushing it up on a piece of paper and then pouring it in via the paper as a funnel and then adding the alcohol. It can get a little messy with mixing, but that is an alternative way because obviously you can't alcohol and mix it on a paper, otherwise it'd be a mess. Yeah, see how there's like alcohol oozing out from this? Yeah, I put way too much. This is like a how to not do it video more so than how to, but it's fine. I did the purple one perfectly too, and then I freaking forgot to record it. So that's great. Okay, so you're gonna take a paper towel. Do not take toilet paper, do not take a tissue paper. It will not be thick enough and it could be gross. I mean, if it's thick toilet paper, it's probably fine, but paper towels are better if you can. And fold it over a few times, that way it is thicker, and then press edge to the in. Starting at the edge, pushing in. Starting at the edge, pushing in. Otherwise, it'll spill way over. Never put your finger directly in the middle unless you want it to look like a volcano. And then only now pat in the center. But be very, very careful. See how this occurs even when you try to avoid it? Imagine what happened if I didn't do my technique. That's how much worse it'd be. So, we already soaked up some of the alcohol. I made it hard on myself by putting so much. It was getting kind of dark in here, so I turned on some more lights. But now I'm going to grab the colors from this palette that I want for, just so you guys know, I realize I haven't mentioned it. This Wet n Wild palette is the Petalette Quint. This Wet n Wild palette is the Nude Awakening Tin Pan Revolution. This one is the Enchanted Icon. But the 4 shades I want to keep from this palette are really, really boring. But that's because they're good workhorse shades. I want to keep the cream matte, the medium brown matte, the dark brown matte, and then the matte black. I feel like that's better. I put some lights that weren't quite as glary. I am going to do this with the next 3 colors and be right back. So it's the next day and all the palettes are dried. This is the one where I'm keeping all the shades. We got this neutral quad of mattes, and then I think these shimmers really work well with this color story over here. But this is all the shades I'll ever need, considering I don't wear eyeshadow much, and these are all the shades that I tend to be drawn to. And then these are the 2 that I will try to give away. I put them back in other palettes, that way I could potentially give them away because the eyeshadows are still good. They're only a year old. I put the 2 creams with that little plastic film over them right here to try to preserve them, but it would look better if I used probably like a lighter to melt them into being flat, but yeah. This pink one, I didn't add any alcohol to because it was so creamy. I just pressed it in manually and it seems to be fine. This pink one turned bright pink. Sometimes when you press things with alcohol, it brings out like a bright color dye, and it doesn't necessarily turn it that color, but it appears that color. But when you use your brush, it looks more like how it used to, but yeah, I don't really know why. These are the 15 eyeshadows I am decluttering, and these are the 12 eyeshadows that I'm keeping. So in total, I am keeping 21 items, and I'm decluttering 8. So while it's not an extreme cut, it's not like 50% of my collection is going, but I think this is a much more realistic size. I don't want it to grow much beyond this. And I think these are things that I needed to get rid of because they were just wasting space at this point. So hopefully I can find some of these a new home, depending on their age. I know this was kind of a long video, hopefully it wasn't too boring, but thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed and I hope that you have an amazing day.